Hey guys, this is Stacy from EatTheBite.com, and today I'm making roasted Brussels sprouts and radicchio with a maple mustard drizzle. We'll start making the drizzle first. I'm using 100% maple syrup for this, and I'll start by pouring that into a small bowl, and make sure you scrape the sides out. I'm also using some whole grain mustard and Dijon for this. We're going to add a little bit of each mustard in there. Then we're also going to add a little bit of brown sugar. I'm going to throw one smashed clove of garlic in there for now, and we're going to remove that later before serving. Now we're going to give everything a good mix until it's well combined, and we're going to set it aside for later. I'm adding some pine nuts to a small pan, and I'm going to toast those off to the side on low heat while I do some other prep. If you don't have pine nuts, you could use sliced almonds or chopped pecans. Whichever way you go, you want to make sure the nuts are completely cooled down before you garnish the dish later. For the Brussels sprouts, you'll need to cut the little stem off the end. And then all we're doing is we're going to cut the Brussels sprouts in half. And while you're doing this, pick through the Brussels sprouts and discard any pieces or flakes of the leaves that might be a little bit off. After that, we're going to transfer the Brussels sprouts into a big bowl. We'll add a little bit of olive oil in there and season it with some salt and pepper. Then we'll give those a good toss with our hands like you see here. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of olive oil to my 9x13 baking dish and just brush it all over the bottom to coat it. After that, we'll go ahead and add the Brussels sprouts in there, and we're going to turn these so that they're facing cut side down. Then we're going to roast these in a preheated oven at 450 degrees for about 15 minutes. My pine nuts are nice and toasty by now, and I'm going to set those aside to let them cool. Now for the radicchio. First thing we need to do is cut this in half. And we are going to leave the core intact because we're cutting a radicchio into wedges and they'll fall apart if we remove that core. So now we're going to go ahead and cut these into the wedges. I got 3 wedges per half, but this will depend on the size of radicchio that you bought. After that, I brushed the radicchio with some olive oil, and they are a little bit delicate, so I held them together with one hand and brushed with olive oil with the other. Once they're all coated with the olive oil, we're going to season them with a little bit of salt and pepper. At the 15-minute mark with the Brussels sprouts, we're going to pull those out of the oven and give them a toss with a spatula, and then we're going to make some gaps to place our radicchio in between. Once all the radicchio has been added to our baking dish, I'm going to give this another drizzle of olive oil over the top, and then we're going to put this back in the oven another 15 minutes, and then it's done. So here it is right out of the oven. All we have to do now is put this on a serving plate. I started by putting down the radicchio first, adding the Brussels sprouts, a couple of lemon wedges if you have them on hand, and then I removed the smashed garlic from our sauce, and using a spoon, I added that delicious maple mustard drizzle over the top. I did use a few spoonfuls here, and you can serve the rest on the side. Last step is we'll add those toasted pine nuts or almonds or pecans, whichever you're using, and you're ready to serve. I hope you give this one a try. This is a great side dish with a savory and sweet balance that is so delicious. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.